Okay, we're good? All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order, the Narragansett School Committee at 7:08 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, I'd like to thank everyone for coming on this warm and toasty evening today. Is there a motion to seal the executive session minutes from tonight?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. And we did, in executive session tonight, we approved 15 homeschool requests, and those all passed 5-0. It's now time for open forum. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move right on to oral reports. And does any member from the school committee have a report to give? Probably not, because it's summer. Okay. All right, very good. So we're going to move. Actually, I have something I want to say, and I'm going to say it now. Okay. All right. So some of our families may have seen a recent press release that went out, but for anyone who is not aware, we have some very exciting news that we want to share, and that is that it is official that Dr. Cummings has officially been named the Superintendent of the Year. So I just want to take a minute on behalf of the committee really to thank you, Pete. When we heard this news, I wasn't surprised at all. It's so well deserved. We've been so lucky, and you've been the superintendent here for 10 years or 11? Going into year 11, which might almost be a record in Rhode Island. But it's when we take a minute to kind of pause and reflect and think about your leadership. When you came in, we were in a great place. And when you have a district that's high performing and the buildings are well maintained and the leadership team is stable, sometimes it's easy to just kind of maintain the status quo and just, keep the ship moving forward. And you didn't do that. You were always looking for how can we take a great district and make it even better? How can we make sure that every single student is supported no matter what their learning styles are, what their needs are? And you did that by relationships that you formed and just being present and being visible and being in the schools and being a really innovative partner across the state with different organizations really trying to just look at how can we take what we're doing and make it better. So all of the different kind of district-wide initiatives, the book studies that you've looped us in all the years, all the building thinking classrooms work, all of your partnering with other districts on their learning walks, and your leadership through COVID, that was something that, was most certainly unprecedented, and a lot of districts were really trying to focus on the physical safety and the social, emotional well-being, which you did. But in the midst of all that, you made sure that we were working so hard to support the teachers to make sure that the kids were making those academic gains, and then a really concerted effort afterwards with all those learning gaps to really all that targeted tutoring and instruction to kind of recoup the skills with the kids, which really, we saw that immediate gain, but long term, when we see the kids now, the number of kids that are taking AP classes, the growth we've made and the RICAS scores and everything, we wouldn't be where we are today without your leadership during COVID, because if our kids didn't have that skill recoupment then, we would just be, you can't make the gains that we have in such a short amount of time, and you look at also, it's been so exciting to see the growth of the CTE programs. It's just unbelievable. I kind of wish I was in high school again and had all these great choices, because it would, it's amazing. So we're really grateful for your leadership, the partnership, that relationship you've built with the town manager, which has helped us to have such a positive, collaborative relationship with the town council, the relationship you built with the teachers union. We hear positive things from the school principals about the support that you give them. And we hear, all the time when we meet up with different, parents or residents, whether we're on the beach, at a restaurant, going for a walk on the seawall, wherever we are, that people are really happy about the schools. So we're grateful for your leadership. So it's a great honor. This was something that your colleagues had to nominate you for, and reach consensus on that. So it's a big deal, and it's not a surprise, but we're so pleased and we're so grateful. And so just a big congratulations again. I'm going to clap again for you.
Thank you. It's really, it's a tremendous honor, and I just want to say, it's really, as I said in my speech, an acceptance speech, when things are going well in schools, it's really a team sport. And we have an amazing team from, the school committee that is really supportive of making sure that schools have the right resources and the right policies to guide them, to our central office staff who works behind the scenes to really make sure that things run smoothly. And the great thing about central office is that if you don't notice it, then it's going right. I say that to Julio all the time. And to our principals who are really there on the front line and making sure that things are kind of operating smoothly and that we're challenging kids. And we have an amazing faculty and staff that does really, terrific things with kids, and who push themselves to be innovative and be thoughtful, and to do the best things that they possibly can to keep kids learning. And we have an amazing community that supports our schools. So it's a joy to be here. It's a privilege to lead in this district, and I really appreciate your words. So thank you.
All right. Well, I think that's it for school committee reports. So we're on to the superintendent's report.
All right. So I actually don't have a long report because it's summer, but we're getting ready to open. So you'll hear me say more about this in September, but our operations and maintenance staff are doing just an incredible job getting our schools ready. So we have a bunch of construction projects, as you know. We've also had a lot of moving within our schools to make room for our new CTE programs of marine professions and sports medicine, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. And so that has really engendered, quite a bit of work. A couple of other updates. The track has been resurfaced. It's amazing. So my daughter has run on it a few times and says that it's just as fast as it's always been. So we're happy to hear that. We've done a ton of curriculum work, and we're really looking forward to getting things going. Teachers come back next week, and the school opens on September 1st. And so we're looking forward to having our students back in the building. I do have some happy news. So we were eligible for a rural healthcare pathways grant because of our partnership with Jamestown. So we recently found out that we have been granted $268,453 to expand our sports medicine program to include physical therapy. And so students will be able to go into the program and earn credentials and certifications towards becoming a physical therapist assistant. And so we have some university partners that we're developing relationships with so that students will have that pathway. And some partners out in the world where they're going to be able to work with actual physical therapists. So Anthony Hassel and Kate Wilkes have been leading that program and have been designing away, and so we're really excited about that opportunity. So that money is going to go to equipment, to staffing, to program development. So it's really, and there's more money where that came from as we continue to develop this program.
Excellent. Any questions for Dr. Cummings? Justin?
Just one quick one. You mentioned operations is going as planned. Does that include I assume that includes the playground upgrades we have.
Yep, and so I believe the playground, if not complete, is just about complete. So I know there is some talk on the council to be able to have a celebratory event for that, and so I think we can schedule that in September once we get school open and everyone has used the playground to make sure it's fully functional. But it'll be terrific. And then we can have a big celebratory event. You know, we had a lot of community support for that, a lot of donors, and so we want to make sure we recognize everyone for their support of our schools.
Thank you so much, Pete.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. We're moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent to approve consent agenda items CA1B, CA2A, and CA2B?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes 5-0. On to the budget report. Karen?
Good evening. Can you hear that? Expenditures for the month ended July 31st total $1,470,501. That's 3.87% of our budget. Expenditures and encumbrances for the month ended July 31st total $26,832,139, and that's 70.62% of the budget.
Thank you, Karen. I just wanted to check in. Are you guys able to hear? Do you want to? We're struggling between. It's very hot. We didn't know if we need to turn the fan down. We heard you, but it's a little tricky. Is there a lower speed, or is it on or off? Okay, we're just gonna just. It's just yeah. We heard you, Karen, but there's competing sounds. But it is very hot, so we're gonna see if there's a lower speed or. Oh, yeah. Better. Oh. You guys want to just turn it off? Yes. Okay. Pete, we're just gonna turn it off, and you need to take your suit jacket off. No one will judge you, but because I just want to make sure, especially with the handbook and all the stuff we just want.
No tie tonight already.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Any questions for Karen about the budget report? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Moving on to school committee business. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent to approve the 2026-2027 district-wide handbook for Narragansett school system?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
So there were almost no changes from last year, and so just as a highlight for you all to remember, the state law for no handheld electronics goes into full effect this year. That is, of course, has been in effect through our school committee policy already for a year, so we have that practice with that, so the principals are working with our teachers to make sure that we continue to enforce that policy. And then there has also been, a statewide focus around athletics and hazing. So there were some incidents last year where there was some legislation passed. So we are addressing that in our athletics handbook and making sure we're emphasizing, kind of preventing hazing and preventing bad things from happening and getting ahead of it before something goes south. But if there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. But again, there's been very minor kind of grammatical changes from last year.
Does any members have any questions or comments? Diane?
I just enjoyed reading through it, and I think it improves every year. I did have a few suggested edits and content organization ideas, but take them all with a grain of salt.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate those every year. It's helped us get better.
Yeah, I thought, again, it was well organized and adding a few more information and then making it clear with some of the rules and regulations. Absolutely making it clear was excellent. Great job.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, on to item number 2. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent to approve the 2026-2027 bus routes for Narragansett school system? Is there
Motion
a
to accept.
motion?
Oh, sorry. Motion?
Second.
Discussion.
So again, these may continue to be adjusted, so what we do, and because based on enrollment and, students having different travel plans, and so we keep them updated on the website. There's a folder where parents can click right on that folder and kind of see the most up-to-date bus routes and bus times. We estimate it as best we can, especially in the morning. We try to say you'll be here at approximately this time. Again, if it's a heavy traffic day, if it's a heavy weather day, there can be adjustments to that, but we try to be very proactive with parents, both in the morning and in the evening. If there is a delay in any way, we try to let people know so that they're not getting concerned, if a bus hasn't shown up on time.
Any questions or comments about the bus routes? Justin?
Yeah, just a small couple quick ones. See, every year I always hear parents ask, how long is the bus ride usually, and how early are they expected? So,
So we meet them as short as possible,
We
right? And so the longest bus rides, I understand, if you were the first one on, right, in the morning, can be up to about 45 minutes. But they get quicker as the school year goes on, quite honestly, as kids get used to being out to the bus stop on time. And sometimes students decide to drive and kind of all those things. So they're a little longer at the beginning of the year, and they tend to get shorter as the year goes on. Also remember, over the last couple of years, we've gone from 3 bus runs to 2 bus runs because for efficiency, and so we aligned our start time for our middle school and our high school to have some savings around our bus runs. So there are only 2 bus runs, one for the middle high school and then one for the elementary school. So that has also helped us kind of shorten the amount of time that kids will need to be on the bus because we're a little bit more efficient in our runs going forward.
awesome. Thank you, Peter.
Any other questions about the bus routes? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to number 3. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and the director of finance and administration to approve the purchase of Yamaha Marine Professions curriculum and instructional materials from Yamaha Motor Corporation in the amount of $27,529.38?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hi, Connor.
Good evening. Good to see everybody. So this curriculum is from, it originally came from a certification that our industry partners said would be most beneficial for students to gain full employment once they leave high school. So we've already had both instructors in the program, Zach Sirwich and AJ D'Angelo, trained at the Yamaha headquarters in Georgia. That was last spring. So the training prepared them to fully implement the industry-recognized curriculum, and then it would ensure that students have instruction and reflect the current standards and best practices of the marine industry as they would get the completion of the Yamaha Maritime Portable Outboard Maintenance Certification.
And so what that means, which is pretty amazing, is that graduates from our Marine Professions program will leave already certified in the basic maintenance and upkeep, and I think it's level 1 repairs, right, of Yamaha board engines.
Level 1, there's 4 levels. This is for smaller engines, but it's highly in demand in like local boat yards right now.
Yes.
So this will enable our students to actually like go hands-on and turn wrenches on Yamaha motors.
Yes, it will. And the idea would be that by their senior year, they're spending time over at Full Keel Marine in the boatyard working on boats.
Oh, amazing.
Will Will this be just one pathway within the program, or will this be the central one?
This is one of two pathways. The other pathway is a more fisheries related pathway where we're trying to work with URI to get a college credential at the top of it.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic, especially for our brand-new program, to have a partnership with Yamaha. It's a great start.
They've been really great to work with, and I would really credit Zach and AJ with really being flexible, really going to meet our industry partners where they are and seeing what they need, and then implementing it within our school.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And thank you for coming tonight to share that information. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This is another great pathway.
Yes. All right. All right. Just props for the CTE programs, so. All right.
I will say we've gotten lots of applications for that program. We're really excited about it. Students are very interested in it. And, you know, between our local partnerships with marinas, you know, the work with the Marine Resource Center where they get some time on the simulators, and the work that Zach and AJ are doing to get them hands-on experience, both working with engines and getting on the water. It's a really exciting program. I also want to thank Steve Gormley because, you know, he moved his entire operation from the middle school to the elementary school in order to free up space for us to have a lab for the Marine Professions program. And so they're going to have small engines in there, and they're going to be able to work on them hands-on. And you know, it was a big lift to create the space, and we did it all ourselves. And you know, so the operations guys did just an amazing job on that.
And they did that this summer, right? To do this. So you think about the size of our school and this program coming alive and all the different avenues. It's really stunning.
Can you take some pictures and email them to us?
Yes, absolutely. It's almost done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when it is done,
Yeah.
we will send it.
This fall, just so we can see. All right, very good. Okay, so we're on to the last item. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and the director of finance and administration to approve the contract with Compass Group USA Incorporated through its Chartwells division for the 2026-2027 school year, with the option of renewing the contract annually for up to 4 years?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
So our food service contract is up, I believe, every 3 years. Is that right, Karen? Every 5 years. So it's, wow, that goes fast. And so Chartwells is who we currently have. We have a good relationship with them. You know, it is difficult in Narragansett because we are so small. So making things work with staffing and, you know, often food service can kind of meet their margin by volume, right? And we don't really have that. But they've worked with us closely to make sure we have high quality food. Gail has done a great job with the, and CJ with the wellness committee and kind of working with Chartwells to make sure that our lunches meet standard. They are responsive to feedback when we work with them. And so, you know, I would recommend to you to approve the contract. It is the basic state contract. And so, you know, we have worked with them to customize it for Narragansett, you know, in the best way possible.
Will this be a savings for us by joining the state consortium?
We've been in the state consortium, so it won't be an additional savings. You know, quite honestly, we lose money on food service every year, and so it's minimizing loss, and that's what we really work with them on.
Any other questions or comments about the contract? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Are there any communications that anyone wants to mention before we close? Okay. Our next school committee meeting, it is the third Wednesday, just feels a little early, but so we'll be back here Wednesday, September 16th at 7 o'clock. Is there a motion to adjourn at 7:32?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.